Alrighty, if anybody has been subscribed to my channel for a while, you'll know that about 2 years ago I put in some of these DG5 coilovers. If you're just coming to this video because you are thinking about buying some DG5 coilovers, listen, because you may find yourself in the situation I am in, where basically since I put the coilovers in from new, I'll show you my car. So here's my car here. It's not a drift car, it's just my street car that I just drive around in. And I wanted some nice coilovers. Everybody who's had DG5s have said, yep, they're great, they're amazing, blah, blah, blah. So I ordered some from Japan. Now, I was under the assumption that if, say, a damper wore out, I could buy a new damper for the shocks. You know, they advertise them as being serviceable. We'll get to that in a minute. But essentially overall good quality coilovers. You will notice that they are currently in pieces, or at least this one is. And that is because when I fitted the coilovers approximately 2 years ago or 18 months, I heard a slight knock in the front left-hand side of my car. So I replaced a few things, the upper A-arms, the ball joints, which I'd already recently done. But hey, you know, I figured why not? The rack ends, the tie rods, all that stuff. Replaced it all. And then I was going to do it all again because I had this knock. And I thought, surely it couldn't be the coilovers because they're brand new and, you know, they were quite expensive. They're supposed to be high quality. So anyway, what I ended up doing was there's a spherical bearing in the top here. And I managed to, so that goes on there. I managed to move the shock and I could feel some play. So I thought it was this spherical bearing here. That was about after they were 6 months old. So that's the new spherical bearing. There's nothing wrong with the old spherical bearing because it still had the knock. So I kept driving it occasionally. I've done a bit of work over the last year to it, so it hasn't really been driving all that much. I put some cams in it about 6 months ago, and I've only just recently got it tuned like a week ago, so I haven't really been able to drive it. But when I had the car jacked up to work on it to do some of the stuff for the drive-by-wire and whatever, I actually grabbed the shock and it's fixed in the car like that, and I shook it backwards and forwards and I could feel some play in here. Now it's kind of hard to replicate here on the bench. In fact, I can't, but just trust me, there is play in this shock body, and I suspect it's been there since new. So the shit thing is they've only got a 1 year warranty, right? And I would have said that this had the issue from new. I'm in Australia, obviously. I ordered these from Japan. So that's fine, okay? Can't get warranty, they're too old, despite being in, you know, really good condition still. That's fine. But the next thing is I have to send it back for repair to Japan. Now, you know what the easiest thing would be, wouldn't it? You know, bite the bullet, just buy a new shock unit like this. Well, guess what? They won't sell you one, because they no longer then have a set of shocks, which I guess I get it, but you can't buy one of these. So your options are send this back to Japan and have them repair it at your cost, or maybe find somebody local in your country that is willing to take a look at it. Now, I might have gotten lucky. I might have had somebody who is able to do that for me. But my option is, my other option is, I have to send this back to DG5 in Japan for repair, which, if they could just sell me a new damper, would probably be the same cost. The other problem you run into is many freight companies will not take this because it contains gas, despite the fact that the volume of gas in the shock is not enough to class it as a dangerous good. Like, I've read through all the literature, I still was unable to find a freight company that would confidently send this away for me. And if I just try to be sneaky and just send it, and it gets to Japan and they won't send it back, I'm stuffed, because I have 3 coilovers that work and 1 damper that will now be missing. So that's that situation. I looked into sending it and having what's done is called getting a purge certificate. Purge certificate means that they take out the gas, they take out the fluid, it's made inert, and so therefore it's no longer a dangerous good. But when I spoke to the freight companies, nobody could tell me what documentation I needed, how the engineer that was going... I found somebody who could do it for me. He said he'd do it for $30, and he'd fill out the certificate, purge certificate, if I could find the right thing to fill out. I called DHL, I called 5 or 6 companies here in Australia. Nobody could help me with labeling this as inert and satisfying it to no longer be a dangerous good. The lady at DHL said, "Oh, you need a dangerous goods agent." But I said, it's not going to be a dangerous good once it's made inert. She didn't quite understand. So anyway, if you're looking at buying coilovers from Japan, please bear this in mind. I'm sure there's probably some other brands that are a lot better. But yeah, my experience with this brand, I'm kind of disappointed. I'm really hoping I can get it fixed, because as a coilover, it's awesome. If somebody said to me, what do you recommend? How do they function? 10 out of 10. Amazing. Some of the best suspension for that style of car that I've driven on. But those are some things to keep in mind. If you do, what if I bent the shaft in the damper? What if it's completely stuffed? You're then down 1 damper, and you can't just buy a new shock body from DG5. That's really disappointing. So anyway, I hope this is helpful to some people. I don't want to discourage you from buying this particular coilover, because they are very, very good. I went with 24 kilo front springs, 6 kilo rear, although in the front I've got extended LCAs. But yeah, click subscribe. It'll help other people find the video, and leave us a comment if you want. In fact, maybe the shaft is bent. Maybe the shaft is bent. Anyway, pray for me, because I need to get my coilover sorted out so I can drive my poor car, which I've just spent a lot of money getting tuned. Thanks for watching.